Yo, what's up guys, welcome back to another history video on this channel, and let's just hop right into it. Alright guys, so for this video, I am going to be talking about the Salem witch trials. Without further ado, let's hop right into it again. So the first thing I want to talk about for the Salem witch trials is that back then, if they thought that you were a witch, they would tell the authorities or the king. And basically, what that means is that if they didn't like you, or they just didn't care about you, or they wanted attention, they would just say, "He's a witch. He's a witch. I saw him doing spells on his cat last night." Yeah, guys. So that's what they could do that's what they could do like 400 years ago. So they had to get evidence that you were a witch. Now, one of the things they did was, if you were a witch, you would float up in water, and if you weren't, you would sink. Now, they say this because if you're a witch, you can float up because like pure water can deflect evil. So either way, you would die. Either way, because if you were sunk, then you would drown. And if you were floating, you would die being burned at the stake. So either way, you're dying. So apparently whenever you got possessed, which is you started acting unorthodox, like screaming and yelling, like you physically cannot hear what the words of God were saying. And then you would like throw stuff and all that kind of stuff, that's weird stuff, you know? The bad thing about that is if you were super religious, it might have been crazy because you might have gone crazy, because if you were super religious, you might get crazy and then basically do the other direction and not stay in like your own good zone, you know? So back then, if they wanted to get you to confess that you were a witch, they would torture you. The only problem with that is that if you torture someone into saying that they were a witch, and they would be like, "Oh, I'm a witch, I'm a witch, I'm a witch," they would confess to anything. Like if I took someone now and tortured them into saying that you like soda, and they really didn't, they would say, "Okay, I like soda, okay, I like soda." You see what I'm saying? If you were tortured, you are obviously going to confess to anything. Apparently, some of the witches that got convicted of being a witch, well, they said that there was a guy that's a tall man that told them that they need to sign the devil's book in your own blood. Doesn't that sound like so cliche? I don't know if it's just me that it sounds like cliche, but I think it sounds super cliche. Another thing is, if people say that God commanded people to kill the witches back in the old days, you were right, but no one talks about the New Testament. No one talks about the New Testament. The New Testament specifically says, do not follow the Old Testament's orders, like in the New Testament, and you are not allowed to kill, because that's one of the 10 commandments. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you guys liked the video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe, because I do post 3 videos at least a week. And yeah guys, I will see you later, and peace out guys, because I gotta go and get back to work.